Okay, I had a question from my BlendFlex class. Um, well, actually, the student is in the online class, but it will help all classes. I have two online classes and one BlendFlex class. Um, the question says graph the compound inequality. If you're in my online class, you will find this problem um, number 15 in lesson 7. Number 15 in lesson 7. If you're in my BlendFlex class, you will find it inside of Mod 2 homework. Okay, so the problem is 3x plus 6y less than 18, or x minus 5y greater than 5. So the way I'm going to change these inequalities to slope-intercept form. I know there's not an equal sign there, but we're going to isolate y. So that means I'm going to move 3x to the right. And if I move it to the right, it's going to be negative 3x. Bring down my 18. And now I just want y. So I'm going to divide all the terms by 6. Divide all the terms by 6. So to put everything in simplest form, we'll have y less than negative 1/2 x plus 3. Now, graphing this way is good and it's easy because the number in front of the x is the slope, and the number on the end is the y-intercept. So if you have graph paper, we're going to look at that, and then we'll do it on MyMathLab to show you how to do it on MyMathLab. Okay, so you would plot 3 first. Plot your y-intercept first. So you would plot 3 first. And the slope is negative 1/2. So go down 1. Don't put a dot yet. Down 1 and over 2. Now, once you do this in MyMathLab, it will draw a solid line. But notice when you have these symbols here, you're going to have a dash line. So we're going to have a dash line. And you only need 2 points, but I'm going to put some more points so that I can make sure my line is pretty straight. Okay. And trick is, look at the inequality in the slope-intercept form, and we see that we have the less than, shade below the line. All right, now we're going to do the second inequality. I'm going to solve it for y again, getting it into slope-intercept form. And we know it's not really slope-intercept form because it's not an equal sign, but isolating y. All right, and I'm dividing by -5. So P, you need to change that sign. And a negative divided by a negative is going to give me a positive. A positive divided by a negative is going to give me a negative. So make sure you change that sign. Remember, in inequality world, if you divide by a negative, you have to switch the sign. So let's plot -1. And the slope here is up 1 over 5. So up 1 over 5, put a dot. And I'm just going to put another dot so I can make sure I draw my line correctly. Now, dash line. So it'll be a dash line. And we're going to do it in my math lab. And look at it in the slope intercept form. Got a less than, so that means shade below. Now, since this is an OR problem, all of this would be part of your answer. Had this been an AND problem, you would see where the blue and red intersect. The area where the blue and red intersect would be your answer. But since it's an OR problem, we would have all of this information shaded. Okay, so let's do it in my math lab. Okay, so we click and we're going back to first inequality. We're going to get our line tool. We're going to put a dot on 3. Now, since the slope is -1 over 2, we'll go down 1 to the right 2. Down 1 to the right 2. And click. And since we just have the less than symbol, we are going to need a dash line. So let's change this line to dash. This is where you change the line to dash. And we want to pick the paint can and shade below. All right. For the other inequality, we're going to get our line tool, put a dot on -1. That was the y-intercept. Go up 1 over 5. And we also need a dash line. Now remember, even though they have erased this, all of this is still needed. All of this is still needed. And I will show you. So let's put this back here because we do need that. And also this area here that's below this line is also needed. Now again, this is an OR problem. Had it been an AND problem, you would just have shaded the area they had in common, which would have been, I don't want to clear all, so delete, which would have been this area had it been an AND compound inequality. But since it's an OR, we would shade everything below the first inequality line and shade everything below the second inequality line. Okay, Morgan and others, I hope this helped. If you have more questions, just email me.